Musket and Zach. Arkansas, well, there's basketball right now with the first four underway. They're playing in Bloomington at the home of the Indiana Hoosiers, but 16 games tomorrow on the March Madness docket. Jimmy Dykes is with us now from ESPN to help us break some of this down. Jimmy, good afternoon.
Hey guys, how are you today?
We're doing great.
Good to be with you.
Good to have you on board. A long-standing tradition to have you breaking down March Madness games in this time period in the afternoon for people. So I'm glad we get to keep that going here. What do you think? First of all, what do you think of Arkansas's draw in the bracket?
Yeah, it's really interesting because that's probably the team in the field, Colgate, that we know the least about out of everybody, out of all those teams. Just because of the unusual season that they had, the unusual scheduling challenge that they had. When you look at their numbers, you think, okay, this is a good team. When you watch them play, you think, okay, this is a good team. They move the ball well. They make shots. They got a really good guard in the Burns kid. So I don't know. I'm not even sure Musselman knows, to be honest with you, with his staff, because there's only so many films you can have to break down, and I think it's a ball game that Arkansas. The first thing I'm going to look for tomorrow is, can they guard the Burns kid one-on-one? Can Davonte Davis or Tate or Note guard that kid and keep him under control? That's the first thing I think Arkansas fans need to look for. Because if you can't, and now you're getting a situation where you have to start maybe double-teaming him a little bit, getting the ball out of his hands, the kid can really pass the ball, and he's surrounded by some really good shooters. So I like Arkansas in that sense because I think you guys have heard me doing Arkansas games. I love Davonte Davis. I think he's the kind of kid that Musk can sit down tonight and say, listen, this game's going to boil down to, can you lock this kid up? And Davis may not sleep tonight being so excited for that opportunity. So I think the game's going to be really determined there early. Like, keep an eye on that. I'm not saying Arkansas can't win if they don't have to double him, and maybe Musk decides to do it right off the bat. But one more times than not, you like to be able to just lock guys up one-on-one and win at all five spots. So, interesting matchup. As you guys know, Arkansas turned that dang ball over way too much against LSU. Just very uncharacteristic of them. They got to be clean with the ball tomorrow, run their offense. I think they'll be in really good shape, though.
You've played, you've coached. I mean, they're rolling in as a 3 seed. How difficult is it for players to not make that peek ahead? You know, that Colgate, nobody until the draw came out, we knew nothing about Colgate. Most people didn't even know where Colgate was. As a player, as a coach, how difficult is it to not look ahead and go, well, there's the 6th seed, Texas Tech on the other side. That's probably who we're going to meet.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think what's in Arkansas's favor this year is this group of guys and staff have never been to the NCAA tournament together. This is new to all of them. Maybe Tate played in one at Northern Kentucky. Justin, I don't think he played in one in Indiana. This is new to all these guys. And the first time you're in the NCAA tournament with your team, with your staff, I think it's really I don't think you overlook anything. I think you're on edge, if anything else. And you try to keep things as normal as you can in your preparation, your scouting. You don't go overboard at all. You don't dumb it down. You stay exactly with what you've been all year as the first challenge as a coach. And Muss is great at it. I heard you guys talking yesterday. I don't know what the number is when he has 4 or 5 days to prepare. He wins. And I think that's in Arkansas's favor. I think Eric's really good at sticking with what they've done all year, not making the game feel bigger than it is. I don't anticipate Arkansas overlooking Colgate just because this isn't an Arkansas team, guys. It's coming off of 4 out of the last 5 years. They've been to the Sweet 16, and the fan base is upset because we haven't made the final. No, that's not it. That's not it. This is a different deal. This is the Arkansas program that's in it as a 3 seed. They're hungry. This is new, and I'll be shocked if after the game tomorrow, anyone from Arkansas says we weren't ready and we were looking forward to the second game.
Jimmy, I've heard some conversation about the mental strain of being in the bubble, and just is that going to manifest more upsets, or what's that going to look like? And I guess it's really an unknown on how that's going to play out. Some of these teams, like Arkansas, have been in Indiana since Sunday, and there's not a lot to do besides practice, and I think you get some time to go into some outdoor space for a little while and get some fresh air, but it's pretty much in your room, bored a lot over the last few days.
It seems like it, and I've talked to 2 or 3 coaches that are up there right now with their guys, and they say it feels completely different than it has during the regular season. And you would expect that because they are truly in a bubble type situation right now. But I also know that they are in terrific hotels, very well taken care of. They've had the highest quality of COVID testing known to man right now. They're doing what they love to do, and it's not a bad thing now. And when you just step back and take in the big picture of what's really going on in our world, around not only our country but just other issues out there, I think they can handle it. But to your point, the team that handles it the best, the team that's excited, the team that is not looking forward to getting the season done and getting back, no, that can't come into play. Like, everybody's mind has to be at that magic level that the guy I played for and coached for, Eddie Sutton, used to always talk about. We have to be at the magic level. We can't be too high, but we can't also be right ready where we're supposed to be at the opening tip. And I think veteran coaches will have their kids ready to play, and that's exactly how I would describe Muss.
From an X's and O's standpoint, Arkansas should have a physical advantage at virtually every position. And it feels like, in just watching what Colgate does, it feels like they're going to have to alter their style of play to match Arkansas's defense more than Arkansas will have to make any changes. I mean, they should have physical advantages at every single position. Arkansas shouldn't have to change a lot. It just feels like Colgate's going to have to make massive changes to what they do.
Yeah, no, you're right. And so now you get into, does Colgate really want to run with Arkansas? And I think if you're Colgate, you don't change who you've been all year. You just don't. That's who we are. You believe in your system on the first day, and you believe in it now on the first day of the NCAA tournament. And I don't look at the lines a lot. It's amazing how accurate those guys are. I know Arkansas is favored by 8.5, 9 points. That tells you that there's some belief in Colgate's ability to get up and down the floor with Arkansas, to make enough shots, to keep it close and not let it be a blowout. But I expect both teams to play to their style. I expect both teams to play fast. I remember saying in the SEC tournament, one of our stat guys for ESPN gave me the note that 1 out of every 3 baskets for Arkansas this year has been scored in the first 10.5 or 11 seconds of the shot clock. That's a fast pace that they're playing, and they're not going to back down from that. I guess my only a couple of concerns for Arkansas would be, do they have any hangover from the poor performance against LSU? Because that was uncharacteristic of the Hogs, the way they forced passes, drove into a crowd time and time again, the number of turnovers they had trying to create things inside that lane that just weren't there. Hopefully they got that out of the system within 48 hours, and they understand we won't last in this tournament if we play like this. So it's that's why this tournament is so special, man. It takes one, not even one bad game, one bad half, and put you in a spot where you can't dig yourself out of it. But I like Arkansas' chances in game 1. If they play Texas Tech in game 2, I don't know if we probably can't talk about that because it'll be Sunday, but man, what a war that's going to be. That is a physical, tough, hard-nosed defensive team, Texas Tech. They don't score as well. They're good. They're not great, but that's where you get to in that second game.
Jimmy Dykes from ESPN is with us here on Ruskin and Zach. Let's look on the other side of that bracket at the Texas Tech Utah State game, which will happen tomorrow. You've talked about Texas Tech. What do you see there?
Well, I have tremendous respect for Chris Beard. We've become pretty good friends over the last 3 or 4 years, and a couple of assistants on his staff. I know how they approach every day in that program. I know what they believe. I know how they value toughness and effort and no back down whatsoever. I think they're okay in that first game. Utah State hasn't seen that type of defensive pressure and toughness that Texas Tech will throw at them. And Texas Tech, as we know, coming out of the Big 12, they've played in arguably one of the top 2 leagues in the country all year long. So they're not going to be swayed or taken back by one great individual player or a terrific offensive or defensive team. They've seen that all year. Like, they can handle that. This is not Chris's best offensive team. I think they only shoot about 40% on the year from the field, but defensively they are so tough, and they keep the ball on the side. They don't let you get it reversed, and that's what you expect in the second round. Like, you're going to play a really good team that knows who they are, and that's what Texas Tech is. Last time I was with you guys, it was my producer on Saturday's game trying to call me, and I didn't click over. Today was my wife. That's the value that I have with you guys. I didn't click over. No.
That might be a call you need to take. I mean, we can wait.
No.
I don't want you getting in trouble.
I would mess it up trying to put it on hold. I would mess it up.
What as Eric Musselman goes to bed tonight, what about Colgate's going to keep him up and make him toss and turn?
Yeah, the fact that they can make threes from multiple positions. That's always a concern as a coach, because you can have a terrific defensive plan, force the shot you want in the shot clock, and it's a long rebound, a scramble situation, boom, come up with a kick it out for a three, bam. And you did everything you could. Just 3 or 4 bounces didn't go your way, and they knocked down 3 or 4 threes because of it. That's probably the biggest concern. And then, again, can we control this Burns kid? And Arkansas has faced tremendous guards all year. This kid's a little different because he's 6 feet, 170 pounds, and he can pretty much do it all. So I don't know. I think it comes down to those two things. Is this a Colgate team that's capable of making 10, 11, 12 threes on us? And can we guard Burns the way we want to guard? That will probably keep Eric tossing and turning a little bit tonight. But you just trust in your defense. Arkansas has been a tremendous defensive team all year long. Their numbers back it up. Arkansas is in a good spot. I'll throw this at you. There's only 2 teams this year in the top 10 going into the tournament, Arkansas and Alabama, that started the year outside the preseason top 25, and they've worked their way into the top 10. And there's also only been 2 teams that started outside the top 25, made it to the top 10, and ultimately made it to the Final Four. The good news for Arkansas is it's happened in the last 2 tournaments. Michigan was one of the teams that did it, and Texas Tech. So there's been a trend now in the last couple of years of a team starting off not ranked, going inside the top 10, and making a run to the Final Four. So I have Alabama on ESPN.com. We had to make our picks as a Final Four, but Arkansas is capable. They are capable of getting that deep in this tournament.
Jimmy, most people are talking Illinois, Baylor, Gonzaga. Do you have a dark horse who could make a long run in this thing?
Yeah, I really like Florida State out of the ACC, and maybe it's because it's one of the outside of the SEC tournament where I got to see everybody live. I think I saw maybe 10 or 12 of the teams across the country live this year. I actually went on site, and I saw Florida State at Louisville. They're the real deal. Like, their depth is extraordinary. They're big. They're physical. They shoot the ball. They've got 7-footers around the rim. They got a lottery pick, again, coming off the bench, and a kid named Scotty Barnes. This will be the 3rd year in a row that Leonard Hamilton has had a lottery pick not start a game for him in that season. Scotty Barnes is the 6'9" kid that he's going to be one of the top 15 picks taken. So I like their team a lot. I think they're a 4 seed or somewhere in there. I like them a lot. I would keep an eye on Florida State. I've seen some people pick them to get to the Final Four, and I would not be shocked if they get there. And that guy can really, really coach. And whatever he is eating and drinking and doing, we need to all do, because Leonard Hamilton looks the same now as he did 25 years ago when I replaced him as an assistant at Kentucky. Like, he looked the same then as he does now. That's a special guy, man.
Absolutely. If you're drawing up a game plan defensively for Jordan Burns, I mean, like you said, he can do everything. He can dribble. He can shoot. He's the school's all-time leader in assists. I mean, what is the game plan? We've been bouncing back and forth. If I'm Musselman, I want the ball out of his hands. Let the other 4 guys shoot it and do everything else. But I am taking him completely. I'm following him. I'll follow him into the locker room if I have to. Yeah.
No, well, the good thing is Arkansas has Davonte Davis is all of 6'3", 6'3.5", but he's such a long athlete. He's going to play bigger. And if he can stay in front of Burns, and bother him initially and make him give the ball up, then you get into we really fight hard and not let him get it back. Like, I think that's kind of how the game is played, because if he gets it back the second time in the possession, he's probably not going to give it up again. And then you're talking about, what do you do with him if Colgate puts him in ball screens? Are we going to force him weak? Are we going to make him use his weak hand? Are we going to trap it every time he's in a ball screen with 10 seconds or less to go and get the ball out of his hands? There's so many layers to that question that you guys have asked. It's a great question. There's so many layers to how do we guard a guy like this. You have to break it down into, how do we guard him in transition? Are we trying to funnel him to the side in transition? Where's our pickup point with him after a made basket and we sprint back to get our defense set? Do we pick him up at half court? Are we picking him up a step above the 3-point line? Does his game film show us we're okay with standing on the 3-point line initially? I mean, there's so many layers to focusing on one guy, and that's what Eric's been doing since Sunday or Monday, whenever they left and rode the bus and started getting their eyes on that film. So a kid that good gets a special freedom offensively from his coach, and a kid that good also gets special attention defensively from the opponent. And Arkansas will be dialed in, I'm sure.
Okay, I have another selfish bracket question. How good is USC, Jimmy?
You know what? They are really good when they remember how good Evan Mobley is. That's the question. He may be. He's going to be one of the first 2 or 3 guys taken in the draft. A 7-footer freshman from Southern Cal. If you haven't seen him play, make sure you watch the game, because he looks different than any cat we got on the floor. He's kind of an Anthony Davis, long, fast athlete, jumping, running, impacting the game. But he'll go stretches and they don't throw him the ball, and that's when they get beat. And if this is a tournament where they decide he's getting a touch 3 out of every 4 times down, they're really good. They're talented. The Pac-12 is better than I think the country realizes. I got to do one game late, Oregon and Arizona, so I got to see 3 or 4 different teams in that league studying film, getting ready for the game, and that's a good league. There's good players, there's good pros in that league. So that's it, man. And it's for every team out there. Your best player got you here, and now your best player has to be your best player. Like, Arkansas might be able to get away with beating Colgate with Moses Moody having a 4 or 5 point game. It won't happen the second game. He's got to show up and play, and I know he will. Yeah, that's the consistency that he's played with all year.
Jimmy Dykes with us, breaking it down here from ESPN. Thank you, Jimmy, as always. Hopefully there's another weekend to this, and we'll talk again.
Yeah, they win. Let's do it again, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, you bet. Jimmy Dykes with us here on Ruskin and Zach. 11:45 tomorrow.